Here we are reaching the end of Orb on the Movements of the Earth, episode 25. Let's see how the story ends, because right now we need to know what Albert decides to do. Let's watch it together. Mm. いやー、yeah, in fact, that's what happened. Oh, yeah, I am sad too. And Albert liked it, so we needed to see. Yeah. Wow. He will join. Yeah. Oh. So he comes back now, but I think that now he will find that his father is dead. Here we go. Here we go. What the F? course, they had two different visions, but peacefully, huh? Peacefully. Okay. He refused. Okay. Yeah, but there's no need to kill him. Yeah, we understand his ideals. Oh! Yeah, but that's why he stopped. I understand. Okay, and that's wrong. Yeah, okay, but anyway, that's the same thing that the church was doing in another way, but. Okay, but you created a trauma in him. Uh. Oh. Mm. Yeah, to believe. Yeah. Yeah, that's both wrong in my opinion. Yeah. I mean, he was too convinced. Okay, we got you, Albert. Now. Of course. Yeah. Yeah, but they can coexist as much as I said yesterday. Ah. Yeah. Mm. Wow, I said it yesterday. Yeah. And in fact, yesterday I said that this priest is gonna tell him something good, in my opinion. Mm. Yeah, because he felt. Yeah. Of course. Mm. Yeah, but when you will try, you will understand. Who is this priest? Okay, it's not Badeni because I made a mistake. Oh, okay. Ah. Okay. I can't see the hair. He's blonde. Of course. Yeah, I also agree with these. That's the same sentences at the beginning. That's the same statement of the beginning of the story. By the way, I liked what this priest said to him. Albert will continue, come on. Mm. Mm. That's very hard to accept. He can see it now. Yes, definitely. Mm. Yeah. Mm. 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 Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Wow, Albert is the perfect combo of everything. So now he will go back and he will tell him, I want to go to the university. Mm. Yeah. Yeah. No! curiosity. Maybe he will go back to here. Ah! Okay. An incredible story. I got emotional at the end. Uh, because we knew from the beginning how history went on. Wow, this was a long journey, and I think that Orb on the Movements of the Earth is one of the greatest stories that I've ever followed, and I suggest you to watch it if you didn't, because sincerely, I've never expected what we saw in this episode. Yeah, first of all, I wanted to say one thing. As much as I said in the previous episode, the priest was suggesting Albert in the best way. Yeah, I made a mistake of thinking that that was Badeni, because we have a move, chronologically speaking. I wanted to believe that that was Badeni before even meeting Oxy, because I like these kind of cliffhangers or these sort of plot twists that tells you that the story has an explanation for everything, you know what I mean? But I think that the priest told him something correct, something that I also said in the previous commentary, when I was saying that belief and doubt can coexist, even if they are very, very different. It's like the rule of opposites that rule the world. They are completely different, but they coexist because they create the world itself. The world is created by opposites. And for this reason, even if you have two different concepts in your mind, in your soul, you can make something in between. You don't have to take sides. You just have to accept both of them and take something from both of them in order to exist, in order to form your personality. And I think that Albert is the best combination here, because he didn't accept what his father was saying, he didn't accept what Raphael was saying, and he was creating something in between. Both these sides that are completely opposite are too extreme, and you have to find a compromise between the two. It's very, very wrong, the fact that you have to keep everything for yourself. It's very, very wrong, the fact that you are too convinced of things. That's why the two things can coexist, because you have to keep doubting of everything you see, and you don't have to feel overconvinced about everything you know. That's the key to keep wondering. The best suggestion that was given was Yolenta's, because she experienced too people who were too convinced that means a Piast, for example, and people who were keep searching, Badeni and Oxy. And I think that even Jolenta was the perfect combination, even if at the end, Jolenta unfortunately took sides, because she also became too convinced about what she thought. So that's why throughout that time, everybody made a mistake, and nobody had the chance to create this revolution. Albert was different because he had an experience in his background story that gave him the chance to make a choice. And as you can see, even the church was useful at the end of the day. We are too convinced, yeah, I put myself in this, that the church is evil, okay, based on many different things. But in this story, even the church contributed at the end of the day to make that change. That final priest that we heard was very essential. Without his speech, Albert would have gone on refusing university, refusing to do what he really liked, refusing to listen other options that were ready for him. But let's say that this also makes you understand that you can't make choices by yourself only. There are external conditions that can influence our inner self, and that inner self can make the choice that we make based on the environment. So let's say that even the environment can influence us on everything we do. That's already established. That's exactly what this story was telling you about. At the beginning of this story, the church was influencing the circumstances or the choices that people were making, in the good and in the bad. But even at the end of this story, the church could make the environment that was good for Albert, for him to choose to do something. So I really liked how this story ended, because yeah, probably human beings are too convinced of things, and they follow too much the instinct of believing in things. And on the other hand, human beings are too afraid to expose what they think, because they are afraid of the consequences. They are presumptuous, they are arrogant, because they wanted to keep everything for themselves without sharing, because they think that if they share, then their importance will decay. I think that all these stories could define human beings in general. That's why I like stories like these, because they don't stick to the era they are talking about, but they are quite inspirational also for the people who are watching this story even nowadays. I wanted to praise this story because it was going beyond what was the narration. Everything was very well explained, very well detailed, no matter if philosophy was used here to explain the view of the past. It doesn't matter, because even in this case, not only these opposites can coexist, but even the chronology can coexist. I mean, the past and the present, but even in the future, yeah, can coexist, because everything is influenced by the universe itself. And let's say that our environment is not the planet Earth only, our own environment is the universe. And that's why, by being a part of the universe, everything we do, even the smallest thing, can have a consequence. Our actions determine a consequence. And even if for us is not significant, for other people or for the rest of the environment can make a huge change. So what we underestimate, other people can overestimate. And it's just a matter of a perspective. And that's why I think that I like this story, because nothing is taken for granted. Everything is explained somehow, and everything is left with your interpretation, because nothing is sure, nothing is well explained 100%. There is still the doubt, the hope, the will of wandering, the will to discover, and the strength that people might have to face certain discoveries without being afraid. I liked when Albert decided to face the sun as much as Draca faced the sun at the end of her life. In this case, Albert was not at the end of his life. It was just at the beginning of his discoveries. But the way in which he was facing God with the serenity, that's what the priest told him to do, made him automatically feel confident about what he was about to do. And even if he didn't receive 100% any sort of answer, that was nice, because passing the torch has never ended. And even nowadays, there are lots of other scientists who are trying to continue this legacy. And it's very admirable. Not just the scientists, okay? Even the people like me, you, and many others who are just trying to wonder the mysteries of the cosmos, the mysteries of the universe. We are still here wondering. And that's our resolution. That's our strength. The fact that we keep going on thinking without put a limit. In this case, we are limitless, because our mind can go everywhere. And that's the beauty of being a human being. The fact that you don't have limits of thinking. You can keep thinking, you can think whatever you want, because our mind is endless as much as the universe is endless. And that's why we are compresent, we are part of the universe. And our role in this story is still a question mark. But that's great, because we don't have answers. We should try to find them. And if we had all the answers, I think that our life would have been so boring. And that's why I agree when to Albert, the priest, is saying that keep thinking is what makes us alive, that makes us happy. The research for happiness is very simple, actually. We don't need money, status, fame. We need the ability of thinking. Try to imagine if we were not able to think, we would have felt like stones. Stones don't feel happy, stones don't have emotions, but we have this immense privilege to think. And I think that this privilege is given to us for a certain reason that we still don't know, but that's okay, because we should keep thinking without being that convinced, because we don't have to forget to stay humble and to keep wondering. That's the secret to be happy, that's the secret to be intelligent, and to keep wondering, keep doubting, keep feeling curious. Yeah, at the end of the episode, what made me feel emotional was that that letter didn't mean what it actually meant. That letter was supposed to give Potoki the news that he would have received the 10% of the profit. But at the end of the day, that letter contributed to pass the torch. That means that Draca's mission was fulfilled, because thanks to Albert, we reached Copernicus. And that is the most amazing thing that you can think. Because Draca, without even knowing, contributed to the legacy, contributed to give her role in this story, in history. Of course, all these characters are invented, except for Copernicus, yeah, or except for the description of the inquisitors and all these kind of things, or the church itself, yeah. But the goal is real. I mean, what we saw at the end was realistic. And it's very inspiring because it could be about the universe, it could be about any other subject. But passing the torch is very helpful. Passing the torch is something that helps you to reach that goal. And it's essential. You can't skip it. Because if you skip one ring of that chain that contributes to create the change will not be permitted. You understand the importance of everybody who joined this chain, no matter their mistakes, because that's what actually was said. I mean, Raphael made the mistake of believing it too much, and that's why he couldn't reach the answer. Badeni failed, or Oxy failed, because they were too convinced, and or they were wondering too much. I mean, they were doubting too much. Nobody had the perfect combination of the two, and only Albert could reach these. I really liked when Albert said, I don't like to take sides. I don't like what my father did. I don't like what Raphael did. I like to have both inside myself. And probably this is the difference. This is how you make a difference. The curiosity that was installed in his mind as soon as he heard orb on the movements of the earth. At the beginning he said, oh no, come on. We know that heavens move, right? But after a few steps, he stopped because he understood that he was about to make the usual mistake. He was too convinced based on what he was told so far. So he stopped, and then the question mark appeared. That means, okay, don't be too much convinced. Let's start doubting. Let's start researching the middle of the two things. Let's see if, thanks to your researches, you can dismantle that theory of the heavens moving instead of the earth. And you can still doubt, but don't doubt too much, because you have to feel somehow confident about what you're researching. So something in the middle, and that something in the middle took him to write books. And those books were read by other students until one student in 1491 arrived, Copernicus. And that made me feel emotional, because you know how things go on later, and everybody contributed to this. I totally agree with the person who said that, I think that it was the consciousness, if I'm not wrong, the consciousness of Novak. There was always Raphael, but that was telling him there has to be a good and the bad in the story to create the change. That's exactly true. We understood throughout this episode why Albert decided to stop, okay? Because he was trusting too much this teacher, and I understood that Raphael was not the same Raphael we saw at the beginning of the story. First of all, because he was an adult, while Raphael was a little kid. Second of all, it was good to see that even if the name was the same, the attitude was a little bit different, but he was reflecting somehow the Raphael of the previous time, because even Raphael died because of his convictions. I mean, he died because he thought that he was sure that what he was researching was worth it, okay? Albert decided to stop because he saw that his teacher, he had an idea of his teacher that was kind, polite, and whatsoever. And when he saw that he killed his father, he was like, who is this person? I trusted too much that person. I was convinced. I was trying to convince myself with the idea that this teacher was this, and this. But look at that, he killed my father. So, do I have a respect for this person? Do I have a respect for what my father told me to do? He didn't have respect for both of them. because he understood that both they were wrong. So he had to find his own path. I mean, I think that in that moment, Albert found out that he can't take sides, that he can't go for it based on what other people are saying. He has to follow his own path. He needs to find his own way to go on without being too much inspired by what he sees. Yeah, to get a little bit inspired, that's fine. But if you are too controlled by what other people are saying, then you will feel too convinced. Then you will not be removed from that idea that you have. So I really liked that Albert wanted to stay independent from all these things. And I've always told you that if you are able to detach yourself from all the impositions, you'll be free for real, because you will be able to have an external and a complete vision of the things, and then you will make a choice about what to do, first of all for yourself and then for the community. Because even Albert's father wanted to erase all his researches because those were complicated for the society he was living in, so he preferred to avoid them instead of fulfill them. And at the same time, Raphael wanted to share them with the society, etc., etc. But in my opinion, that's exactly what happened in the previous episode. First, you have to try to find yourself, and then you will share things outside. Because it's also for the benefit of the outside that you feed the inside first. I'm glad that this story has my same ideas because it's very hard to find stories that can match with the ideas you have. But I think that Orb on the Movements of the Earth completely understood me. I felt understood with this story. And it doesn't happen very frequent. I've seen lots of stories throughout the years, and yeah, most of them they were very, very epic, and they showed me so many views of the world. And that's why I like to follow anime, because they give you so many different views. It's like a videography. I mean, it's like a multimedia library that you can pick this info from that story, this info from the other story, and then you create your own idea. That's exactly what happened here. I mean, even this story gave me the chance to reevaluate some of the things that I thought, and that's why deep anime like these should be watched more. Okay, guys, I know that I like action stories, I like battles, I like special effects and whatever, but this story doesn't include any of these. And anyway, the powerful way in which this story is narrated is sufficient. It's enough. Because we don't need to have a huge and great battle to explain deep things. And personally, I prefer deep things rather than watching the same things over and over and over again. You know this already. That's why you follow me, and I thank you so much for the support. I like stories where I can find myself, or I like stories that can inspire me, because of course, even if they inspire me, I'm not taking that path completely. You know how I am right now. I am a person who listens quite a lot, different things, and then I create my own idea, but I am always ready to change my mind. I'm always ready to hear different opinions, different stories, different things happening, even in nowadays world, okay? To confirm me the opposite that I'm thinking. And I'm very ready to change my mind if there is the case. If the evidences that are brought to me are good. I mean, they are having an intention to make me change my mind, okay? I also don't like people who are too convinced about things. I also don't like people who pretend to know everything, because in that case, people of that type show me how ignorant they are. Yeah, there was a statement that I read many months ago that was saying that people who are too convinced are very ignorant. Yeah, I agree with these. Because nothing can guarantee you that what you believe, that what you're convinced of, it's true. And that's the beauty of living in this world. I mean, that's the beauty of living in this universe. I wanted to be more extreme by saying the universe instead of the earth, because we don't know what's outside. We don't know what's there. We don't know if that outside exists or not. We don't know anything unless we go outside and we see it with our own eyes. See, even the skepticism that some people feel, I quite understand that, because the skepticism makes you feel curious, and at the same time doesn't make you believe about everything you see. So see, I am also like Albert. I am a combination of the two, and I really wanted to remark this once again. I really liked the fact that even the church at the end of this story was inspiring the main character of the moment, that means Albert, to do the right thing, because that suggestion could contribute to create the rest. So everything we do is meaningful. Every action, every word we say, how we interact with other people, our indications, our intentions, our feelings, everything matters. And it doesn't matter if we feel like a drop of water in the ocean. Remember that even an individual can change the course of events. Even an individual can change history, because even if we are not the most important part of the chain, we are part of it. So we can contribute to change things if only we want. And this is the most amazing message that this story can give us. And in fact, we could see that here all the characters were essential. All the characters made it somehow. I really liked everything that happened in this story. For example, if Albert, the young Albert, didn't decide to go home that night, he would have never understood Raffles' point of view, and he would have never understood how to detach himself from that idea. So everything is made because of a destiny, probably, is made because everything is already written, is made because God wants us to discover things at a certain time, at a certain moment, because everything matters. Yeah, it could be true. Is that God? Is that energy? Is there something else almighty ruling on the universe? Is the ultimate project creator that did something like this? Or does this creator exist? Does this creator not exist? See, we have so many questions. But the key of everything is to be that ring of the chain. We shouldn't take the merit of everything. We are just part of it. We are just part of that merit, and we have to accept it. We don't have to feel too arrogant to believe that everything is thanks to us. No, we should communicate. And the communication can help our thoughts to go on through centuries, if you think about it. I mean, if we keep everything for ourselves, those ideas will not go anywhere. And we just take the pride, we feel greedy for nothing. I prefer to be part of something, to be remembered because of something that I did, and to be remembered because of what I said, and that thing that I said contributed for other people to go on. That's something amazing if you think about it. It's a way to feel immortal, and that's why I think that Albert will never forget about the people who helped him to make his choice, as much as Copernicus will not forget about Albert because he read his book and whatsoever. So this chain, even if you believe that nobody will remember you, you will be remembered just because of the ultimate idea that will come out from all this. So you don't have to be remembered by people. You will be remembered by the idea you had, because that idea will become famous and you were part of that idea. Even if your name doesn't appear, who cares? You knew at that time that you were part of that idea. And if you feel that presumptuous to say, oh, I want my name on it, I want my... That's ridiculous, because when you die, the idea that goes on throughout the centuries is more important than your own name. Because your name was given by your parents. But you can be even without a name. You don't need necessarily a name to be remembered. The ideas will be remembered, and that's what matters the most. I think this story was brilliant, guys. I was so happy to follow it from the beginning, and it's like as if this circle, closed. It was a circle, it was an adventure, it was a journey, and I am not regretting of watching it. I suggest you to watch it to understand not only about the heliocentrism and all these kind of things, but to understand how we are and what we can do to modify for the best ourselves. In this story, there are some indications that help us to be better, even if no matter how many stories we watch, it's very hard to change ourselves. Something will happen in our life that will drastically change us. And the way in which we react to those negative experiences will make us become strong and will make us define our personality. It's always the way you react to things and not how the things are coming to you that creates you. And I think that Albert was a great creation. Yeah. He created himself in the best way. That's something that I like to watch. To see a person that doesn't take sides. Because in order to be unique, you have to do something that other people didn't do. And what usually people do is to take sides, is to fight for their convictions. But until we will fight for our convictions, we will never change anything. And this could go for politics, these could go for governments, these will go for all the people you keep voting when there's somebody to vote. Ask yourself, will things change if I vote that person instead of the other one? Do they want to change my condition, or do they want just to make me fight with other people so that nothing will change? Are they telling me, are they promising me some things because they are trying to help me? Or they try to help themselves by having my vote? So every time you do things in this world, ask yourself, what are they trying to make me do? What do they want me to do? Is that for my sake, or is that for their sake? Can I think differently or not? And if I can think differently, how would I think? See, life is based on questions. And if you stop asking yourself questions, you're dead. If you keep asking questions to yourself, you are alive. And most of the times the governments of the world don't want you to think. Because if you think, you're a free mind. And if you're a free mind, it's a problem. Nothing is impossible. This story tells you this too. Nothing is impossible. No matter how many times they tell you that this is impossible to do, go for it. And show the difference. Show that nothing is impossible and that you can change the world, and you don't need a huge community. One voice can make a difference. That one voice can change everything. And even if it's that small little voice of a young boy or a young girl, doesn't matter. Even if the younger generations are telling you something and you are an older generation, I mean, you're part of it, stop and listen. Because not just the older generations can talk, even younger generations can change the world for better. We should trust others, no matter the age. See, all these preconcepts that we should get rid of, those are the evil part of the world, the convictions. Yeah, so thank you very much. I really liked this story, and please, if you have suggestions regarding other deep stories that I can watch, feel free to comment here down below and tell me some titles, because I need these stories. I need them for myself. I need to feed myself with stories like these, because I can take inspiration from those to extend my mind, to feel happy. Yeah, when Albert was listening to the priest and he was telling him, look, at the key of everything is to be happy. And in order to be happy, you keep questioning yourself. Yeah, that's the most amazing thing that was said. And so if you wanted to help me to keep wandering in this world with many other stories, write me down in the comments below all the titles you want me to watch, because sooner or later I already have my ideas of what to watch. For example, I will watch Darwin's Incident that is coming. I will watch To Your Eternity Season 3 that is coming. I will watch A Liar Game even when it's coming next year. I have to wait. I just have to wait that all the episodes are aired, because I want to watch one episode every day. So I don't want to wait 1 week, because it will take too much time. But I wanted to watch many stories that seem to have something to say. And I have many other stories like Heavenly Delusion, many others like Welcome to the NHK, that I've never watched it. I was always recommended to watch this story, but I have never done it. I watched the Takopi already, and I still have to try to find a way to make a video about that, because there are so many things that I want to say about that story, and I don't know how to put my ideas in order. There are so many stories I wanted to watch, but please inspire me. Tell me something that I don't know, because I want to know. And thank you so much for the support, guys. This journey was amazing, and I invite you to watch it if you didn't. Thank you so much, and see you from next time with the Apothecary Diaries. I hope that story will be nice too. There are 24 episodes per season, so 48 episodes waiting for season 3. Let's see how it goes. Thank you so much for the support, and see you in the next video. Thank you so much for have supported me with Orb on the Movements of the Earth. Bye. See you.